I'm going to share a few thoughts, then we're going to hand it over to some of the officers in charge of our aviation unit, and then we can certainly take some questions. First and foremost, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone in Albuquerque and, of course, New Mexico. But this is a little bit of a Christmas present from our taxpayers, from our residents, from City Council, from the Mayor's office to our police department. And we are very excited that it is finally here. This is, of course, our new helicopter. And this is hopefully the end of a story that has been told for a long time. So I'm going to share a little bit about the history of our city's helicopter, but also talk about what we can look forward to in the future. A couple of things. First, I want to acknowledge City Council for helping fund this. This was really a special appropriation that, about almost a year ago, the idea was percolating about 18 months ago, where we finally just said enough is enough with our old helicopter, and we came to City Council and said we have a way we think to fund this. We need to get it done because it takes a long time to get a helicopter. And so lo and behold, we do have it now. We believe it's in good working order. But let me introduce also a couple of other individuals who played a key role. The sponsors were, of course, Councilor Jones, Councilor Sanchez. We appreciate their leadership on this. And our man who kind of made this happen administratively, the Chief of Staff of APD, John Ross. Let's give him a round of applause. He never really gets any. and also our CFO, one of the unsung heroes at our city who, whenever the public and all of us are discussing what to do with lodger's tax or you name the bonding initiative, we have a CFO who is creatively, due to, in part, positive financing trends and good management of our revenues and budgeting. Our CFO, Sanjay Bhakta, is here. He's the guy who scraped together the $5.5 million to purchase this helicopter. Thank you, Sanjay. All right, so what we are delivering today is hopefully a new crime-fighting tool and an effective one. And that is a marked difference, I think, in some ways from what we had to operate with in the past. And so as you see this helicopter behind us, in many ways this is representative of a lot of things happening at our police department. We are finding challenges, we're finding constraints, we're finding issues every day. And we're finding out that we have to invest in not only our people, but also our equipment, especially when it comes to general modernization to make our police department more effective. And for us, the old helicopter was famously inadequate and marginally effective. Recall, it could not fly during a lot of our hot weather conditions due to lift issues. It was also so old it had hour requirements, so it would essentially time out of the amount of hours you could fly it before the year was over, so we couldn't even use it. On top of that, when you look at some of these things that you see in front, these are the cameras on front and back and below the helicopter. These efforts in our old machine were, sort of era 2000 optics, meaning we could kind of zoom in like you would perhaps on a camera that you have of your own. Now we have real crime-fighting technology on this. We can read license plates from high altitudes. We can do all sorts of surveillance that we need to do when it's with respect to crime fighting that some of the officers are going to talk about. These are all things that we were unable to do before. Also, all of these systems are able to link with folks on the ground who might be doing pursuits and so forth, and also eventually our real-time crime center. So for us, this is also a symbol of the need to modernize our police department, and at least we are doing something very significant by getting a helicopter that is going to be able to effectively and adequately help support public safety in Albuquerque. As a reminder, the existing helicopter was 18 years old, and I mentioned had altitude issues and technology issues that made it unfortunately not usable. Also, it had problems at night. This helicopter is equipped with the FLIR system, which enables us to use it at night, and as well as the cameras. So I'm going to leave the details to some of the team, but I also want to mention that, as we work to hire more officers, and we got our first 100, we're on track for our next 100. We're actually meeting our goals with respect to that. Now we also have to modernize the department around them, and we saw this, whether it's our real-time crime center or legislative package that we're asking for. But now at least we have one long-standing issue. When I first ran for office, people said, how can you be the mayor of a police department that has a helicopter that can't fly during the summer? And frankly, I completely agreed with them. And now, about 2 years later, at least, we have solved that problem. And so to hear more about that, I want to introduce one of our pilots in charge. And so Officer Pearson, is that right, Officer? Okay, Officer Pearson, tell us about the specifics. Oh, and I'm going to hover awkwardly near you because I'm your microphone.
My name's Officer Nick Pearson. I'm with the Albuquerque Police Department Air Support Unit. I'm a pilot and tactical flight officer, so I do both the jobs on it. So this is a great day for me to see it for both sides. I'll start first with the aircraft side. This new aircraft opens up the possibility and the safety for our crews and the citizens of the city because it's higher performance. We're able to fly during the daytime on hot weather days. As you saw, we came in with 5 people on board. We never would have thought about doing that in our older helicopter. So when crime happens in the city, peak hours, there was times that we weren't able to be there because the aircraft wasn't capable of flying. With this new aircraft, we're going to be able to fly all day, every day, without the restrictions of the heat and the temperatures and the density altitudes. The only restriction still would obviously be weather. But we can even sustain higher winds in this aircraft than we can in the other one. So it just makes it safer, it gets us up, but that brings us to the equipment that we placed on board of this aircraft, and that's the bread and butter of it. The FLIR camera system is, I compare it to people that were asking me, going from analog to 4K Ultra HD. The abilities to be able to use the thermal during the daytime. The camera, we can actually make out what's on it. The other one was almost unusable picture as far as a daylight camera. This new mapping system that's on board, we can actually type in an address. I typed in, when we picked it up in San Diego, I typed in the address of the main 400 Roma, and it actually geopoint locked the camera and kept it locked on there to the main. It was tracking it the whole way back, so as we came into the city, it was actually moving the camera. That's a big view of it, but for us across the city, if a shooting came out in the city, we know, but a 2-minute response time, we could lose somebody leaving the scene. Now I can type that address in and the camera is actually going to be there before I could ever get my eyes on it. So we're really happy and pleased with the ability to use it, to use for things like that. Like the mayor was saying, we're also going to be able to downlink both by cellular and microwave downlink to our officers in the RTCC. It's a huge game changer for me on the police side because I was always having to tell the K-9 officers exactly where I saw somebody hiding. And when you try to describe 4 bushes that are right next to each other, now they're going to be able to actually pull out a cell phone or an iPad and see the picture, and I won't have to describe it to them. So those are just a few of the functions of it. We're still learning more, pulling out the books, reading daily on getting up to speed with them, but we're really excited with the possibilities of it.
Good job, thank you. Okay, I think with that, I know we're gonna, media wants to check out the helicopter, take a look, and I'm not sure what all protocol is, but we want you guys to explore and take a look at all that it can do.